Welcome to the Explainer. Look, I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you're a focused learner trying to really master the mechanics of corporate finance, the actual machinery that keeps these massive global operations running smoothly, well, you've landed in exactly the right place. So let's just dive right into it. Today, we're going to dissect a foundational concept. It's one that gets tested in virtually every major finance and accounting interview, especially for those highly sought-after roles at leading firms like Accenture. We're going to completely demystify journal entries, zeroing in on the absolute critical differences between recurring and ad hoc entries within the record-to-report process. So think about this for a second. How do major corporations keep their financial books perfectly balanced every single month? It's kind of a fascinating puzzle, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars, thousands of transactions, and operations spanning the entire globe. The numbers never just magically sort themselves out, right? They require a highly disciplined, rigid framework to capture those standard daily operations, but at the same time, they need just the exact right amount of flexibility to handle the unexpected. And this delicate balancing act, it's entirely managed through specific types of journal entries. Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with 1, the record-to-report process, then move to 2, defining recurring journals, 3, defining ad hoc journals, 4, recurring versus ad hoc entries, and wrap up with 5, the RTR analyst role. Let's get going. Number 1, the record-to-report process. Okay, so record-to-report, or RTR for short. Think of this as the essential foundational bucket, where all the financial transaction recording actually happens. It's the whole cycle involving the collection, processing, and delivery of accurate financial data. The ultimate goal here? To ensure absolute compliance with accounting standards and to support informed, strategic business decision-making. Honestly, it's the engine driving a company's financial transparency and accountability. Without a flawless RTR process, a company is essentially flying blind. Now, within that engine, the fundamental accounting cycle steps flow pretty seamlessly. It goes from recording to classifying and finally summarizing. And heads up, in real-world mock interviews, like the ones you might have seen on the Corporate Wallet channel for Accenture candidates, interviewers frequently test your grasp of this exact cycle. You start by recording the transaction as a journal entry. In the real world, you're often using tools like SAP, where you might punch in a T-code like FB50. From there, those entries get posted and classified into ledger accounts, and finally, they're summarized into a trial balance and eventually the financial statements. Every single transaction has to flow through these steps. Moving on to Section 2, defining recurring journals. So what exactly is a recurring journal? Well, it's kind of right there in the name. These are entries that occur repeatedly every month or at scheduled intervals. You use them for transactions that are consistent and totally predictable across your accounting periods. Essentially, it's the act of doing them again and again. By setting these up in advance, a finance team can automate and streamline the recording of standard, ongoing business costs. And let me tell you, this is absolutely vital to ensure the books are closed accurately and, honestly, just as importantly, on time every single month. The crucial takeaway here is that this isn't just some stuffy textbook theory. It's exactly how actual practitioners talk about it on the floor. Take a look at this quote from a real mock interview candidate prepping for an Accenture role. They said, "The reoccurring journals like any general, which we are doing again, like any accrual." See? Even under the massive pressure of an interview, the simplest definition is the most accurate one. With recurring entries, you are literally capturing the repetitive heartbeat of the business's expenses. Let's bring this down to earth with some specific examples you're going to see on the job. The absolute most common recurring entries include accruals. Remember, these are expenses the business has incurred but hasn't actually paid yet, like outstanding interest on a loan or maybe utilities. Another massive category? Depreciation runs. As a company's fixed assets, think heavy machinery or massive office buildings, decline in value over their useful life, you need to record that expense evenly. In major ERP systems like SAP, an analyst might fire up T-code AFAB to automatically process this recurring monthly depreciation expense. Oh, and amortization functions very similarly, just for intangible assets. The main theme here is that they're all highly predictable. Section 3, defining ad hoc journals. Now for the flip side. Unlike those nice automated recurring entries we just talked about, ad hoc journals are non-routine. They are strictly one-time entries. They are definitely not scheduled in advance, and they're processed completely on demand, as needed. Think of it this way. If recurring journals are the steady heartbeat of the company, ad hoc journals are the immediate reflexes. They exist to react to events that fall completely outside of those standard monthly patterns. So you might be wondering, why do we even need them if we have such a great schedule? Well, the triggers for ad hoc entries usually include direct requests from client teams, completely unique financial transactions, or, and this is a big one, the need to correct data. Imagine someone accidentally booked a massive purchase as a sale. Yeah, that's a classic interview scenario right there. The whole purpose here is to provide a flexible accounting structure. Because no matter how rigid your month-end schedule is, you absolutely must have a mechanism to handle those unexpected financial events or specific data reclassifications required by the business leaders. Which brings us to Section 4, recurring versus ad hoc entries. All right, let's put them head to head. Here is your executive summary. On one side, we have recurring journals. They are automated, they are scheduled, and they handle predictable costs. Their entire reason for existing is to streamline the month-end close so you aren't stuck manually calculating standard depreciation every 30 days. But on the other side, we have ad hoc journals. These are highly manual, strictly one-time, and incredibly flexible. You rely on them for the unexpected events, the sudden reclassifications, or correcting that inevitable human error. Basically, one gives you stability and the other gives you agility. You literally can't run a business without both. Finally, Section 5, the RTR analyst role. So who actually manages all of this? Well, these are the actual day-to-day responsibilities you'd see in a job description for an operations or client financial management analyst at a major firm like Accenture. As an analyst, you're responsible for balancing both types of entries. You've got to post entries to designated business units. You are the one on the hook to ensure the month-end close happens strictly as per schedule. You've got to perform complex balance sheet reconciliations to maintain data integrity. And, crucially, you have to be adaptable enough to execute those ad hoc tasks the exact moment a client requests them. It requires a really deep understanding of P&L accounts, high-level problem solving, and frankly, the ability to keep your cool under pressure. Let's wrap up with this thought. The numbers never lie, but they are entirely dependent on the professional who is actually recording them. Truly understanding the flow of the record-to-report process and mastering the strategic use of both recurring and ad hoc journal entries, that is exactly what separates a novice from a true financial professional. So, are you ready to manage the month-end close? I really hope this explainer has equipped you with the clarity and structure you need to confidently tackle these concepts, whether that's in your day-to-day work or in your next big interview. Keep learning, stay incredibly focused, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.